Hello, everybody. Sean Higgs coming at you with another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast, NFL edition, the NFC South. Chip Chirimbes, Doug Upstone joining me here as we're going through the NFL. A little bit of, sort of previews. We're talking some win totals, division odds. If we like anybody, if we don't like anybody, perhaps a player prop. If you watch some of the other videos, we've thrown out some player props, a couple game teams we like, teams we dislike. We'll do more of the same here shortly. But before we get to that, you know what you got to do here on the channel. Like, subscribe, notification bells on, so you know each and every day, whether it's a preview edition or a regular show with MLB free picks, NFL free picks, college football, NBA, whatever the free pick of the soup du jour, the flavor of the day is of that season, of that month. We'll have you covered there. Live show, of course, Football Fridays. And Chip, he's got his weekend edition with the legends, the old timer crew, all the who's who of sports betting, covering football for you. Notification bell on. And last thing with football before we move into the picks here, NFL early bird special is up now. It's less than $25 a week, $5.49. Do the math in my head. I don't know. I says like 24, 22, whatever it is. $25 a month. Honestly, if you don't have $25 a week, what are you doing currently to the channel? Why are you betting? Go get a second job and then come back see us in a year when you have a little bankroll in your pocket. But really, folks, make the smart money move. The season pass is great. Maybe you don't want to spend that much. All right, you want to spend a little less? A 3-7-38 package is guaranteed. So we show you a profit, or we credit you back and you come back for more. If you want to go that route, I prefer the Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You get a lot of football, that thing. But a weekly one, you'll get all sports. So, again, those are guaranteed. The season-long pass, cheaper, but that's not guaranteed. But leaderboard tells you we win more than we lose. Now, the NFC South. This doesn't get as much hate as the AFC South, but I guess there's something in the water down there. People really like these teams. They're not the premier sexy names as quarterback-wise or coach-wise or just overall here. There is some, I guess, brightness at the end of the tunnel here, Chip. I mean, we got Tampa, Atlanta, Carolina, and New Orleans. We got a new regime in New Orleans with a new quarterback. We got Bryce Young in Carolina as a young guy still trying to take a step forward. Penix, I want to say he's a rookie. He's a second-year guy, young. And then we got old man Baker Mayfield. Let's start with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
They are favored in 12 games this year. You look at the schedule, okay, it's favorable. You're playing the South, and then you got Houston, you got Philly on this, the Jets, Seattle, Detroit, San Fran. You got some tougher matchups. They do have, I don't want to say the best quarterback in the division, but let's be honest, he probably is. I don't really love anything with these guys here. Should they win the division? Yes, they're plus 105. I don't know if I'll go easy like that. I would probably lean to I'll look into the Panthers a little bit, who I like. Their win total is sitting at 9.5, Chip. Feelings on Tampa Bay?
Well, I see today I saw 9.5 minus $1.25 to the under. And it's making me think, even though they won 4 straight division titles, and Baker Mayfield is the only really standout that you can talk about as far as a quarterback is concerned. Remember his senior year, him and Pat Mahomes were putting up yardage like crazy, going head to head, and somehow Mahomes evolved as being one of the greatest of all time, and Mayfield just doesn't quite get any kind of. I still think he's underrated. I mean, last year he threw for over 4,000 yards. Tampa hangs their hat on their D, even though they had a great offense last year. They averaged 399.6 yards a game, and that was ranked 3rd in the entire NFL. But their rushing defense only allows 97 yards a game. And you said they were going to be favored in 12 games, Sean, and their total is 9.5 to the under. Makes me think that they're not going that they may win the title, but I don't think they're going to go over that 9.5 games with the under being favored like that, because if they're favored in 12, I think they should have been a higher total number for total victory. So I would play under if I was to play it.
Doug, he brings up a good point with Baker. The guy gets zero kind of credit, and he's a winner. The guy wins games, and he's laughed at. I don't understand the total respect for him. The guy is pretty decent. Okay, you want to say, oh, he's got Mike Evans. Well, Joe Burrow has Jamar Chase and Burrow and Mahomes had
So he needs.
Kelsey. You know what I'm saying? Like how do you just take away from a guy because he's got a good receiver? Nobody's taking away from Josh Allen when he had Justin Jefferson or Stephon Diggs and or whoever. Why does he get lumped like he's a fluky guy and he's won?
Well, the reason he's got, I would say that because he's been on so many different teams. Okay, so I mean, he really hasn't found a home until now, and I think then the other aspect, I don't know what you guys think, and I'm kind of even a little up in the air on this one myself. I don't know, where does Baker Mayfield rank among the top quarterbacks? Is he in the top 10? I guess I can't say he's not. I'm not saying high up, but 9 or 10, does Baker Mayfield belong there? I would think so. But the thing is that at this point of his career, and with Baker Mayfield, that we've seen other quarterbacks like this, you have to accept the fact that he is going to make some dumb throws. He's going to turn the ball over, and he's going to also make some mistakes, fumbles, whatever. I mean, it's just part of who he is. He's not terrible at that. It's just part of his game. And so he also, though, wins games. And I mean, last year's Tampa Bay team was not a great team. And even the year before, but yet they won 2 divisions. Are the divisions weak? Yes. But that's besides the point. Somebody's got to win them, and he's led his team to win. The defense, to me, is still young. And what I mean by that is that you'll shake your head sometimes with a smile on your face, and other times you'll do it with a frown in following their defense. So you got some problems there. But the offense, to me, looks very explosive. I think the defense will be improved because of their pass rush, and I think they have some better athletes now in the secondary. We saw that at the end of last year. So I just think overall, so I think they will repeat and not only win the division, but I think they'll also get to 10 wins. So I'll lean with the over on them.
Okay.
Oh, all right. So this will get a firm pick Tampa because I like Tampa. I don't know. We've seen in the past some team come out of the blue and battle, right? We saw Washington had their young quarterback play, the Texans the other year, with Stroud and Daniels here. Do one of these guys, and I'm talking Penix or Bryce Young, kind of take that big step forward and catapult them above it. This is where I would go here. Let's talk about. I want to go to the Carolina Panthers, and they are plus 390 to win the division and 6.5 on their win total. And I like these guys. I might use them for my survivor pick in week 1. They're 3-point dogs to Jacksonville to start. I'm a crazy guy. They're only favored in 3 games this year, Chip. And again, 6.5. It's juiced to 145. I mean, you're an underdog in 14 games. You got the Bills, Green Bay, San Fran, the Rams, and Dallas all on the schedule. I mean, maybe the Rams and Stafford might be an easier game. But you have the Saints twice. You got a home versus Atlanta, and you have Tampa Bay. So, I mean, if you split here, you need a win somewhere just to get a game away. I think they can do it. I'm high on Carolina. I'm high on Bryce Young. You're trying about to build like I'm great. Go ahead. Let me have it.
No, I was just going to say, who is Bryce Young? I mean, when are we waiting for him to be a player? And if Bryce Young emerges, what are they going to do about their number 32 ranked defense that allowed 404 yards a game? So they got a long way to go. And the development of Young, to say the second half of the season last year was a little bit better for him. But they had said they needed one of their priorities for the second-year coach, Canelli's his name? I think his name is.
Yeah.
He said he needed to, his priority was to prop up the offensive line. And here's a guy, I understand Bryce Young's under a lot of duress. He gave up 404 yards a game. He's worried about his offensive line. They give up 190 yards rushing a game. So Carolina, I think, is a long way away. And if Bryce Young emerges as the other guy Hurts did, Alabama boy, but I don't see Carolina doing much of anything. I really 150 to 1 to win it all.
Well, listen, I don't win it all. Win the division, I think it's possible. Over the win total, yes. Doug, they open at Jacksonville, who I think is okay. You have Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't won a game. I mean, he's lost, 12, 13 starts in a row. He's been terrible. They have Arizona the next week, again, in Arizona. Again, Kyler Murray, maybe they're 1-1 there. Atlanta at home, I think they could win that. At New England, the love on New England, I don't know. I'll take an experienced quarterback there over a second-year guy. So right now, in my mind, although again, my mind is a lima bean rolling down a 24-lane super freeway. I'm 3-1. I get Miami at home, who I don't think is good. Now I'm 4-1. Say I lose to Dallas because they got Dak, so I'm 4-2. At the Giants, 5-2. Buffalo's a loss. Green Bay's a loss. That's 5-4. New Orleans, 6 wins. At Atlanta, that's a coin flip. At San Fran's a loss. Home versus the Rams. I don't even know if Stats Patford's going to make it through the season with his bad back. There's my win before the bye week, before my Week 14 bye week for Carolina in December is when they get a bye week. And then they get the Saints, Tampa Bay, Seattle, and Tampa again. Who, if Tampa's rolling, that's a freebie at the end. And Seattle. Is Darnold going to take another step? I got 8 wins, possibly 10 if I could sweep the Saints and split with Tampa Bay. There we go. Bold to Carolina Panther fans, give me some love in the chat.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd like to request a timeout if I may. Then I'll start there before I go any further. Okay. So what I want to actually talk about first is that I think I heard you correctly that you said that you would consider Carolina Week 1 against Jacksonville for a survivor pick.
Yes.
Okay. So just my first question, what survivor pool are you going to be in? If you're going to choose that, if you're spending more than $1, I'm not sure that's what I would call a safe pick. Okay.
That's not good for the circa.
I wouldn't take the game.
20 million?
I guess I wouldn't take the game.
He doesn't have to sweat out the rest of the season after that one.
Carolina as an underdog for Survivor Week 1. I mean, I don't know. I know sometimes that you like to beat yourself up, so maybe that's a good time to do it.
My 3 favorite picks for Week 1 is Carolina, the Jets, and the Giants.
Okay, well, hey, thanks for playing. That's all I got to say. So anyway, so as far as I don't share your enthusiasm as greatly. I'm more in Chip's camp on this one, but I do think that Carolina has some possibilities to get to 7 wins. I think it's totally dependent upon Bryce Young. He has to start to play why he was his position that he was drafted for at number 1. So if he becomes this season what I would call a better than average quarterback, so let's just say he's roughly 12 to 13 in the NFL, I think they conceivably could win 7 games. The defense, okay, I mean, it's, you know what, when the other team has the ball, 1 rosary and a bucket of holy water, okay, that's my thought on their defense. I think there's some problems there. I would lean to the under with this team because of the defense and still this uncertainty with Young. By the way, but the offensive line is good because Chuba Hubbard was a stud last year for them at running back. So I like the pieces. So if Young has a running game, that can only make him better. But if they got to 7 wins, Sean, I can't say I would be stunned. Okay, so I'm not gonna dismiss your comment on that one, but I just, as a general rule, I would think they'll probably get to 6 wins, and that's about where they belong.
All right, so listen, the 7 is in play here, 2 out of 3. Carolina, I'm high on Carolina. We'll find out nice and early if they're gonna be worthwhile here as they play the Jags to open up. Who again? That's another team that's looking to kind of take a step. Lawrence got paid. They've done nothing. They bring in a new coach. We'll see what happens. Carolina for me. All right, Doug, let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons here. Now, here's a team with a lot of hype and love on them, right? They got Michael Penix. People love Michael Penix. 10 underdog spots for them. And all their spots where they're favored. I'm looking at their schedule. We roll into the week 10 spot of their schedule here. Over the Colts in Indy, -1.5. At the home versus Panthers, -3. 2.5 at the Saints, 1.5 at the Jets, 1.5 home versus Seattle. And at the end of the year, we got the game against the Saints that are favored on home because it's the last game. Obviously, the Falcons You see the numbers here. They are number 2 to win the division, 2-1. They are thought of being in the position to maybe need that game. So, the lines are where they are. I'm not that high on Penix. I want to see a little more from the guy. I mean, this team, listen, Cousins came in, couldn't do much. He was hurt, never really recovered. Maybe he also thought, why are you drafting this guy? You just gave me a huge contract, and you draft a guy who's 5 years younger than me. I mean, Penix he's not 5 years younger, folks. It's tongue-in-cheek, but he was an older college player, which is fine. I think that let the kids play a little bit and learn a little more, and you get a little sharper. They drafted Bijan Robinson. They had Pitts. Not much got out of that offense. London. I mean, you have offensive playmakers. We talk about the Carolina defense, as Chip brought up. The Atlanta defense, not that much better, trying to improve it. I'm not high on a rookie, second-year guy, whatever, not a lot of whatever under the belt, however you want to word it, the phrasing. That's a big number for them to come in here win. Again, 7.5 minus 165. What?
Well, that's where the money's at, I guess, on that one. To me, this is far and away the most fascinating team in the league. And by the way, while I'm speaking here, I'm curious. I didn't look this up. What is the age difference between Penix and Bryce Young? Okay, I'm thinking it's 2 years, but I could be wrong on that. But far and away the most fascinating team. Atlanta last year, it's easy to forget. They started 6-3. They looked like they were going to run away with the division. But Kirk Cousins got hurt a second time. His play really dropped off. They brought Penix in. The defense collapsed like John Stamos' acting career. Okay, it just went away. Okay, so that was that. The former Dirty Birds missed the playoffs for the 7th straight time. Okay, just awful. So why is there all this enthusiasm for Atlanta? Well, offensively, they have talented players. You got Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Darnell Mooney. I'm not high on Kyle Pitts. I think he's up and down, but he has his moments. But they spent their draft capital on trying to upgrade, and also free agency, trying to upgrade the pass rush, because last year it was 31st. And that secondary, because of that, just got wiped out. Now, they were number 15 against the run. I think they can improve a little bit better on the run. And if they get a pass rush, that will help their secondary, I think, immensely. Raheem Morris came in there, supposed to be a defensive wizard. So he's going to have to do some wizardry and maybe even a little sorcery, okay, on that one there too. I think they can get to 8 or possibly 9 wins here. So I like the over with Atlanta here in this division. There's just it's so uncertain. So many things can go so many ways. And like what happened to Atlanta last year, like I said, 6-3, finish 8-9. You just never know. This is a goofy division, and this is where we are.
I mentioned Carolina bye week in December. Atlanta's bye week, week 5, October 1st, or first week of October. What is bizarre? And the age difference, just a year. 25 for Penix, 24. But Penix, Young is going to his full third year here. This is the third year as a starter in the NFL, and Penix is coming in off the bench. It seems like Penix was in school longer, but when you're 24 now coming out, most of these guys are 21, 22. So that's why I made the joke, folks. Especially when
a lot of guys, because of the COVID thing, a lot of and the extra year of eligibility, and they got paid. So that's why they stuck around in college too. And
I like it. I like that they're sticking around. Get that money. Learn a little bit more. Bo Nix looked like a pretty good quarterback, staying in school a little bit. Chipper.
Yeah.
What do you think here about the Atlanta Dirty Birds?
You said Morris is a defensive guy. Well, they need that because second to the last in sacks last year. They only had 31, Atlanta. And they got the 2 running backs, and they should be able to help Penix. I mean, they averaged 4.8 and 4.9. Mm-hmm. I mean, 4.7 apiece. And Penix likes to throw the ball downfield. He's had only 3 starts the end of last year. And, he's played plenty of games, but not at this level. I'm really I'm only with you, Sean. I think the jury is still out. I saw him in the championship game out here when Bo Nix and him were going head to head, and he looked much better than Nix did. But like I said, throughout his career, he's been so disappointing. I mean, he was at Indiana and wherever he seemed to be, he has yet to produce a winner. I think they're in a tough spot here, but Atlanta would be your second choice in this division, I would think, if anyone's going to emerge. But I still like Tampa Bay to win it. In the division anyway.
You mentioned Bijan and Algier, the running backs. Again, you got Pitts, you got Mooney, McLeod. I mean, this is
Pitts has been a major disappointment, I'd have to say. Well, I mean, for the guy to be a number one pick.
Disappointment, or they don't throw him the ball.
Well, maybe they can't catch it. I mean, London had 100 receptions last year. Pitts wasn't even on the charts.
Yeah, but you got to get open though too. I mean, you can throw him the ball, but he's got if he's covered, you can't just keep forcing it in.
I find it bizarre. You take a guy at 4 and you don't try to work him more into the system somehow. I mean, open or not, the other guy had 100 catches.
Yeah, well, I mean that's why I think
everybody doubling Pitts.
I don't think Pitts. Well, I'm not going to say what I really think about Pitts, but I just think he's one of those guys that just doesn't have the football instincts. He's a tremendous athlete, but he doesn't have the football instincts and know how to get open. I'll say it that way.
This is his 5th year, by the way.
5th year, yeah. I mean,
wow.
I know, not new there. Hey, and before I forget, I didn't look it up, but I still like it anyways. Baker Mayfield over 4,000 yards passing again.
Oh, for sure, yeah, I like that.
So yeah, I'll jump on that one.
He has eclipsed that the last 2 years, 4,500 last year, 4,044 the year before that. So
yep. Yeah, that seems, unless he gets hurt, that should be quite doable.
And even when he was in Cleveland, 37, 38, 35, and those were missing games. That's 14, 16. So he was near those numbers on a Cleveland team. So all right, listen, we got one more
TV
left
commercial by being bad. Okay?
Yes.
So that's all that was.
Well, it made sense because he sat in an empty stadium. So
right.
That commercial was on every 6 commercials. That commercial was him.
Yes. 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Good for him. Good for him. Speaking of good for Baker, it'll be good for you if you hit the notification bell on so you know each and every day we come at you with your free picks. NFL, college football, Major League Baseball, hockey. That's a lie. No hockey free pick videos. But NBA and college basketball free pick videos, yes. And again, early bird NFL up right now for $5.49. Go get it. We're going to finish this up with a doozy, Chip. The New Orleans Saints, underdog in 16 games. Their lone favorite on the early release, home versus the New York Jets, -1.5. There you go. That is the big scheduling spot for the Saints, and that is not until, what is that, December 21st? Is that week 15? I mean, wow. What do you expect from this squad? You got a new head coach. You got a rookie quarterback. You also have a second-year quarterback. You look at these numbers here and what they're offering: 1,300 to win the South, 5.5 plus 155 to the over. No. This is the old. You know they have those prop like who's the last winless team in football? Hello. I mean, I think you're looking at it. They might not win a game. How? Who is punching 5 wins on this? 6 wins for this club? I'll run down the schedule, but go take it away. Or take it, I don't know. Definitely take it away. This is a stinky garbage bag with fish in it that was outside on the jetty on the rocks. Whoosh.
Go ahead, Chip.
Well, all I have to say is that this division is something else. I think they have the number 31 and 30 ranked defenses in the NFL. New Orleans gives up 140 yards on the ground. Derek Carr retires. I think Kellen Moore is now the head coach, right? So we're going to have to see what he does. And I have good news for you is that there's 9 starters on offense coming back and 9 starters on defense. And I've got bad news for you. There's 9 starters on offense and 9 starters on defense coming back. I don't see where this team goes anywhere at all.
Carolina last year, worst team. Saints, second worst team. And it's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the Falcons at number 10, worst defense. There, we got 3 of the 10 worst defenses in football in the South. Yeah, listen, sorry, Saint fans. I mean, you might be. I guess you're tanking for Manning and trying to relive the glory days. I'm not old enough to remember the original Archie Manning, but I thought the Saints were pretty bad when he was a quarterback too.
Yes.
Manning never had a 500 season.
This is a bad team. Kellen Moore as your coach, I don't think Chip, excuse me, Doug, this team here, I'm looking at the schedule. No, it's got to be an under. Under by multiple games.
Yeah, I read some stuff about him, and actually, I thought that was interesting. So, Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator, and pretty much everywhere he was offensive coordinator, he got a lot of noise. And he wasn't, he was highly thought of, but sometimes the results didn't measure up. So now he's the head coach, and of course, he more than anybody knows you need a quarterback, and so Tyler Slow, Spencer Rattler, Jake Hayner, okay. Line those three up against any other team in the NFL, okay, for top three quarterbacks. So there's a problem. Offense needs a leader, okay. It's got to be one of those guys. Defense was number 30 last year. New coaching staff built. I think this team just has to build something first. But I have read, and I read a couple different places, that the players have 100% bought into what Kellen Moore and they're trying to do. So there's a real positive vibe surrounding the team at this time. Now, once the games start, that can evaporate pretty quickly. I think their schedule isn't. I mean, you were talking about, Carolina having some, let's call it 50-50-ish games. I think they do too. Obviously, 4 of them at least are in the division. So I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, I'm really down on Cleveland, the Giants, and Tennessee. For some reason, though, I just don't feel quite that strongly about the on New Orleans. I think they'll go under, but I don't think they'll be horrible necessarily. And I think they could end up, if the understanding of Kellen Moore and the vibe is correct, I could see this team maybe covering 8 games, okay, on the season. But in terms of a play, I have to agree with everybody. It's under, because you look at it and it's just, there's not much there.
I don't have the current lines for the season long for them. This is the lines were before Carr retired, right? Because obviously they were 3-point dog versus the Carolina Panthers. Now they're 6 or 5.5 point dog now versus Arizona, I should say. In week 1, I said Carolina, it was Arizona. And even with Carr, they were a 1, and that was at home, a 1.5 point dog versus the Panthers at home, a 1.5 point favorite over the Jets at home. And that's their close ones. I mean, everything. I mean, you got some 6, you got 9, you got a few 9s in here against Tampa Bay. It's going to be tough. You talk about buying into a system. That's great. You know what that's good for? That's good for preseason. That's good for preseason kind of look. We're going to start fresh and get some wins because we know it'll get a little tougher down the road. I don't know. That's the Saints to me, not a team. I'll maybe look to fade them. They're week 1. Let me get a quick take on this from you two guys. It's 5.5. Now normally I see the 5.5, right? It's totally dead number. It looks easy. Take a favorite, right? They're Arizona's 5.5 over the Saints. These Bengals are 5.5 over the Browns. Just take the favorite, win by a touchdown. If Arizona, they're supposed to be back-to-back 4-13 season. Kyler Murray's. If you don't come in here and really beat this team 40-8, something along those lines, I think that's a bad look for Arizona, and I guess a good look for the Saints if they come in and beat a team that's. Again, we got to look forward to taking last year's bad out of their mouth. I don't think Rattler's going to do it. I know they want to put that Tyler show in there, but I don't know. 5.5 first week. I will not be shocked if they hang tough against Arizona.
I wouldn't be surprised if any dog hangs tough because as we've seen the last 2 years, the first 2 weeks of the season have turned into high-level preseason games. I mean, because the tackling's not great, the execution is not great because nobody's playing in the preseason. They're scrimmaging all the time. So this is where we are now in the NFL. So the first 2 weeks, I mean, buckle up. If I feel bad for a guy like you, Sean, if you like to put up the volume plays and Yikes!
No.
I mean, that's I congratulate you, man. If you have the conviction to do it, I'm all for you. But how the level of play is the first 2 weeks, especially week 1, is even worse. I don't know. I can't see myself having more than 2 plays. I mean, just on principle.
Chip, he's like, oh, bad play, take dogs, and then he's laughing at me for thinking about taking the Jets, the Giants, or Carolina first week as dogs in a Survivor.
I would think, to me, those are at best 50-50 plays. If I'm going to be in Survivor, I want to win. No, I'm not saying you can't win with any of those. You certainly can. But the fact of it, I just, no. And by the way, let me qualify my one statement here too, is that in Survivor pools, I have been in one for forever, and I'm actually in a double Survivor pool. Okay. And I think the farthest I've ever reached in a double Survivor pool is week 8. So all right. I'm not exactly skilled. Okay.
That's halfway.
Straight halfway, like twice in like 20 years. Attaboy.
Chip, he's laughing at my dog takes in Survivors, and yet he's saying I'm not shocked if the dogs win outright in week 1.
Well, no, I didn't say win. I said I'm talking coverage here. I'm not talking win.
We're right there, Chip. We're tell him we're right there as the outright winner.
I don't play Survivors.
Why not? End the misery early.
No, actually, I have played. I have played in the stations, casinos. Had the winner take all, but that was with the lines, with the spread. But it's come on, guys, that's a tough route. You have to start at the back end of this contest because you have days Christmas and Thanksgiving, and when you have to make selections and selected teams, and you have to make sure those teams are available. So you have to actually go from the back end up to the front to this contest is the way I see it. And I have enough trouble just seeing who's playing today, much less the opening week or anything along those lines.
So there you go. We wrapped up the South here in the NFC. Only one more left to go. We'll roll these out here. So hopefully if you caught the other ones, you catch this one. Notification bell on for the previews. Notification bell on for our daily free picks, the football shows. We got you covered here at Winner Circle Sports Betting YouTube, and of course our gamblersworld.net for all of our NFL and college and Major League Baseball and NBA, blah, 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 all the premium stuff for you right now. Last time out, here we go before we close out. Get that early bird NFL, $5.49. You do the math, less than $25 a week. Make that smart money move, folks. Be a winner. Gentlemen, good luck. See you soon.